It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for joining us. I am your host for today, Kevin McIntosh, alongside my colleague, co-worker, Jake Schaf. Thank you for being here, Jake.
Absolutely. Couldn't miss this, Kevin. Another great day ahead of us. It's Wednesday, hump day. Weird to think that it's already Wednesday because this week has felt so off with Labor Day, but another day, as you say, another day, another opportunity. So let's get into it.
Absolutely, man. And we got some big shoes to fill with Tyler Keefe being out. But getting straight into it, we actually are talking about a recent art show in our community that's actually being honored for success. Is that right, Jake?
Almost got you there. Yes, we do. There was some honoring yesterday at the West Bloomfield Township building from the Orchard Lake Art Fair, which took place back in July. But it's become a bit of a tradition around the township to honor the art fair by displaying the poster from that event at the township for everybody to see. It's something that's been taking place since 2017. We had a lot of people out there yesterday. We had Patty Narozny, as well as the artists who did the piece on the poster. And Patty Narozny, producer of the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show, went into a little more detail on why this is such an honor to be recognized in this way.
We actually had the artists, Sharon and Bryant Tubbs. They're sculptors who've been in the show for several years, and they were the featured artists in the show this year who were represented in all the posters and print ads that appeared in the Oakland Press and West Bloomfield Beacon and other print materials. And so every year we have the annual poster presentation. They signed the poster, and we were here to present it to West Bloomfield to hang in their offices. Just like since 2017, all the other posters are in their offices here at the township.
That's right. And as you can see on our screen right now, you can see how some of these posters from the past few events are being displayed at the township, and this poster right here is going to be a great addition. And this piece was done, as Patty said, by Bryant and Sharon Tubbs of Bryant K. Tubbs Metalworks. I spoke with Brian when I was at the art show back in July, saw some great works from him, all of it beautiful. And I had the chance to speak with Brian and Sharon yesterday and ask them what it's like to have their art featured in this way and what it means to achieve this incredible honor.
We've not experienced anything like this before. We've been doing the shows with Orchard with Patty for about 5 years, and we've always seen that she's had a lot of great artists there, so it's really a privilege that she chose us to be featured this year.
I'm with her. I mean, it's a great feeling. We've come a long way. We've been with Patty for like about 5 years. Every year's a great show, great atmosphere. So great artists. So it's like you said, it's a privilege to have our art picture posted in the Civic Center. So it's great.
There's no better privilege than to have your art featured in this way, representing such an incredible event. And I think unveiling these posters is such an indicative feeling of how much of a success the art fair was. And don't you worry, Kevin, because when I spoke with Patty yesterday, she gave me a little bit of a sneak peek on what to expect next year. Work is already being done for the 2025 Orchard Lake Fine Art Show. And here's what Patty had to say providing that information.
We want to save the date for July 26 and 27, 2025 in West Bloomfield. And we appreciate all the residents who come to the show. We hope you enjoy it. We focus on quality, not quantity, so we hope that they see that within the art show and that they enjoy it. And we're honored to be in West Bloomfield.
You heard Patty. July 26th and 27th in 2025. And this, I have a feeling this next art show is going to be the biggest one yet, Kevin. I can't wait.
Yeah, as we all anticipate for the show to just continuously get bigger and better and grow, and for the audience to continuously grow also. Great story, great information also, and we look forward to it. It's already interesting to hear that they're already planning and have the date set for next year's event already. So much success to them as we continue to support the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show in our community. But within our community, earlier this week, there was National Beard Day actually being recognized. And this was actually a story that came from our West Bloomfield Fire Department that said, did you know that firefighters in the 18th and 19th century often grew full beards, and they used to use them as a way to filter smoke while fighting fires? Very, very interesting concept. But today, knowing how toxic smoke is, firefighters wear SCBAs whenever they may encounter smoke or other hazardous materials. So obviously that entire concept and theory has going out the window. Firefighters now are a lot more protective today. Our SBCAs provide firefighters about 30 minutes of air before they have to come outside and change their air bottles. So thank goodness for technology, health advancement, and things of that nature. Officially telling that you don't see too many firefighters, if at all, with beards now today. So just something that the fire department put out, a great tidbit. Jake, just talking about that. You can find out more about that on their Facebook, WB Fire Department on Facebook. What are your thoughts on beard? Have you ever thought to have a beard, Jake?
I mean, I've definitely grown out a beard before, but never to that level. I'm looking at those those beards from those photos. I mean, that had to have taken like years to get it to that length. Like I do not have the time nor the patience to get a beard that long. Usually after like a week or 2 weeks, it starts itching, and I got to shave it again. So they definitely had a lot more patience than I did. But yes, it's great that technology has gotten to the point where that's not really required anymore, and it's great. And this definitely seems like, I mean, well, we know it's a much safer way to keep the firefighters safe.
Yeah, things are a lot more different now, and like we said, a lot more advanced, and we're more worried about safety. But speaking of safety, in honor of National Baby Safety Month, Goldfish Swim School of West Bloomfield actually wants to open a conversation around all things water and baby safety. Now, although we are kind of wrapping up the summer and things of that nature, it's still important to know about water safety, especially with our babies and our infants as they're in the tubs. You may take a vacation and go to warmer weather when the winter and fall is here. So important factors to know, considering every parent should know when it comes to water safety. Drowning is a leading cause of death in children ages 1 to 4. Babies can drown in as little as 1 inch of water, and it can happen very, very fast. But they are saying formal swim lessons can decrease that risk of drowning by 88%. And they have a lot more information that they presented on their Facebook as well, just talking about preventative measures like draining bathtubs, locking toilets, locking bathroom doors, things of that nature, and of course, enrolling your youth in formal swim lessons if you do have that availability. So great information from Goldfish Swim School of West Bloomfield, Jake, just talking about National Baby Safety Month and the importance of our babies and our infants being around water is something that we should all be a little bit more attentive to.
Absolutely. And work should be done to make sure that these young children should get the experience of swimming and being in the water at a young age. I always like to tell people I learned how to swim before I learned how to walk. And I'm grateful to have had the time to process those skills and to familiarize myself in the water. So all of this information is great, especially for parents who want to make sure their kids get the appropriate water safety. I know you have a young son, Kevin, so this information is absolutely crucial.
Yes, absolutely. You want to find out more about that or just keep up with Goldfish Swim School West Bloomfield, go to their Facebook, Goldfish West Bloomfield as well. Keeping an update about West Bloomfield, people that are doing great things nationally. We actually had a chance to interview MMA professional fighter and West Bloomfield native Austin Bashi, and actually last night in Las Vegas he walked away with a victory. Actually, his bout against Dorian Ramos, he actually won on Dana White's Contender Series on ESPN. Austin performed so well he earned a life-changing contract with the UFL, which is the #1 global MMA league, by the way, in case you didn't know that. We got a quote that says, "This is a goal that Austin has been working towards since he was 8 years old. And now MMA fans around the world are really excited to see him compete at the highest level of the sport." So we want to say congratulations again to Austin Bashi on his success in the next level of his career and reaching 13-0 undefeated record in his career now. So you can actually go back and watch that interview that we did with Austin on our website, civiccentertv.com. Click on the On Demand tab as well. But we are addressing the issues right here locally within our community, especially as the school year has began. A recent article from the Oakland Press went into detail on how prevalent a concern in Oakland County is beginning to remedy itself, but it's still something to watch out for. It's a teacher shortage that we're kind of addressing still and monitoring and paying attention to. So actually join us right here on The Splash to go into a little bit more detail about that teacher shortage and what we're doing about it. From Oakland Schools, we have Deputy Superintendent Kenneth Gutman. Thank you so much for being here, sir.
Oh, you bet. Good morning. And Deputy Superintendent as of last Friday, current Superintendent as of this Tuesday. So I'm excited to be in this new role. Thank you. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so to the topic at hand.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. I'm glad we're not doing MMA because I get hurt. Teacher shortage is real. It's been real for years, and there are a number of reasons it's been real. There are a number of reasons we've been had fewer people going into the profession. As of a couple of years ago, enrollment in teacher prep programs was down by 2/3. By 2/3. So, we saw teacher prep schools, graduate programs, undergraduate programs declining. We do have a group called Talent Together in the state of Michigan. I serve on the board. I'm proud of this group, and we are putting 1,000+ new teachers, people who could not afford to go into teaching or their life circumstances didn't create the ability for them to do that. We are paying their tuition. We are getting them into student teaching types of roles, internship roles, and getting them ready to get in.
Okay.
Additionally, at this point, we're really starting to see an increase again in teacher preparation programs. Now that, coupled with the fact that we have declining enrollment here, especially in southeastern Michigan, for potentially the next 8 to 10 years, with a little bit of declining enrollment, an increase in teacher prep program enrollment, I think we're going to be okay down the road.
Okay, great to hear. So it sounds like, first of all, thank you for that overview of the situation in general, and thank you for providing a little bit of insight into what we're doing to help with the enrollment. The other side of that, if you don't mind, Mr. Gutman, is the fact that it's retaining the teachers that we have also. So are there any efforts going into kind of keeping the teachers and stopping them from potentially leaving the district or just stopping their teaching career in general?
That's a really important question. I'm glad you asked it, because most teachers, when they leave the profession, they leave in the first 2 to 4 years, usually within 4 years. Teaching's hard. Teaching's really challenging. And I think that there are a number of local efforts. It goes beyond pay. It goes to treatment. It goes to respect. I know that a number of our local districts in Oakland County and throughout the Tri-County or throughout the state are really putting together some ways of helping teachers feel comfortable in their environment, making them feel valued. It's not for the pay, clearly, and it's not for the glory. But the difference you can make when you change the life of a child, when they come back later and say, "Hey, thanks for everything you did for me," when you see them have that moment where they learn something, that can be satisfying all on its own. But certainly we can all do more to help teachers not only enter the profession, but value the profession and want to stay in it.
I'm glad you actually said that, Mr. Gutman. That's a great point. And I want to kind of reset the show just talking about teacher shortages in Oakland County schools and how they are being addressed. With us right here live on The Splash, Superintendent for Oakland Schools, Mr. Kenneth Gutman. So since we talked about support, I want to talk about that from 2 different angles, first and foremost. First, support from the families, the communities. What can families, parents, even students do to help support these teachers that we currently have and maybe even increase enrollment?
Yeah, so give them some respect. Teaching's a hard job, and that's everybody should show some respect to teachers. And it's cliche, but I remember I grew up the son of a high school principal. If I came home and said the teacher was mad at me, it was my fault. And too often we look at teachers and say, what did they do wrong? What did they do wrong? Instead of
Yes.
saying, hey, let's give them, let's presume some positive intent, and let's reach out to teachers and say, hey, tell me what happened here. Help me understand what happened. And by the way, thank you for teaching. Thank you for what is one of the great professions in the world that never really gets the respect it deserves. So I think it comes from everyone, from teachers, from administrators, from colleagues. Let's show each other some respect. Let's operate respectfully. Let's treat each other well and understand that what we do in education is simply change the world one child at a time.
Yeah, no, well said. And I'm glad you said it. That's probably the best thing that we could do. First and foremost, respect them in their career and what they do, and thank them also. Be appreciative of that also. I 100% get that. Now, kind of looking at it from a different angle, is there any local or other additional support, I should say, that's necessary from the state or local governments that could kind of help address or alleviate some of these teacher shortages locally?
Yeah, we need to continue to invest in grow your own programs like Talent Together to bring teachers into the profession. We have a number of people who would love to teach. They'd love to be a part of the profession, but unfortunately they don't have the resources or their life circumstances don't allow for it. Talent Together continues to fund people going into the profession, fund their tuition, and get them in as quickly as possible through an internship experience. I think from that perspective, if our state would value and continue to value grow your own programs, we can't get people through teacher prep programs fast enough. It's 4 or 5 years. Most of them are 4 now before you're done with an undergrad degree and a prep program. At the university level and a master's program, it's a couple of years. So the sooner we can get people through with this grow your own type of, through grants, through a group like Talent Together, the better.
Yeah, that's a very interesting. Yeah, it's a pipeline that they have to go through in order to be accredited teachers and educators. So yeah, you got to respect the process, but there's still other things that maybe we can find solutions to. And I'm glad you provided that insight with us right here live on the Splash from Oakland Schools, Superintendent Kenneth Gutman, just talking about addressing the teacher shortage, alleviating solutions, and things of that nature. I want to kind of get your insight in regards to kind of like the community and the reflection of the teachers with that. We have a very diverse community. So how do you feel like or can you just discuss the importance of diversifying the teacher workforce and the efforts that it goes into to actually make sure teachers kind of represent some people from other communities?
Yeah, so in terms of diversity, look, we learn well and we learn better very often from people who look like us and talk like us, had our upbringing. The more we can diversify our workforce, the better. There are efforts going on around the county to do that. Certainly, you always want to hire the very best and have the very best in front of your children. I would say in 28 school districts in Oakland County, 22 charter schools that we work with, all 28 districts, all 22 charter schools. The goal is to make sure we have the very best workforce in front of our kids.
Right. First and foremost, 100% agree. Yeah, we definitely want to make sure that is priority. But yeah, we also understand like different members of the community, different people, different communities, different cultures. It's also well to be represented. So I understand there's a balance between both. But we definitely appreciate your time, Mr. Gutman, explaining things in regards to the teacher shortage and how we may be affected. Any additional information regarding teacher shortages in Oakland County, West Bloomfield, just in general, what the plan is or what we can do?
Yeah, so continue to show respect to teachers. Please help us foster a need at the state level for grow your own programs, and let's try to continue to respect teaching as a profession. Our teachers work really, really hard. On a side note, I have 2 children, both going into teaching, so I'm doing my part to rebuild this profession, and I'd ask others to do the same. Too often we have people say, don't go into teaching, it's really hard. And I say the opposite. Go into teaching because it's really rewarding and you make a difference.
I love that. Well done. And I like that you say, like you said, you see something and you're actually helping to address the problem with, being a great example for your children going into leadership roles, actually. So thank you again, Mr. Gutman. We appreciate your time once again. Superintendent for Oakland Schools, Kenneth Gutman. We appreciate you again.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's almost unfortunate to hear that there is even a teacher shortage, you know, just specifically right here in our community. But nonetheless, it's also good that it is being remedied and there are efforts being taken to actually kind of alleviate those types of things, Jake. So overall, a great information from Kingdom Government and the efforts that they're doing to try to get teachers back in these classrooms.
Yeah, really happy to have Kenneth on the show today. A lot of great information he told us, and teaching is just one of those jobs that you really start to appreciate more once you leave school and you appreciate all the work that they do for you. They're the reason I'm sitting in this chair. They're the reason you're sitting in that chair as well, Kevin. Like, every little thing teachers do helps us to become the people that we are, and they absolutely deserve more respect, and it's great that work is being done to make sure that they're available to provide great insight for eager students.
Gotta love our educators and the resources that they provide. And speaking of, there's plenty of other resources to help our youth learn and help our community grow, but we'll get into that very, very soon. We are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Bringing you stories and memories from Kego Harbor, Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
One scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
When the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
I'm relying on luck, but who knows if it'll be on my side.
When it comes to disasters and emergencies, it's not a matter of if, but when. Take control. 1. Assess your needs. 2. Make a plan. 3. Engage your support network. Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell.
I'm Gina Gregory, president of the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. I'm excited that Civic Center TV has reached 1 million views on YouTube. Congratulations. That's just terrific. We appreciate everything Civic Center does for the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society and the community. For us, they promote and highlight our events. It's awesome to have them available 24/7 on YouTube. I'm Gina Gregory and proud to be one in a million.
Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I am your host for today, Kevin McIntosh, joined by Jake Schaf. Now, if you haven't heard the news as of recently, West Bloomfield is getting its own storybook trail, and there's a grand opening event happening very, very soon. If you're excited, you probably know what a storybook trail is. If not, then recently our very own Tyler Keith actually spoke with West Bloomfield Township Public Library's community engagement librarian, Emily Tobin, to talk about the grand opening event for the Storybook Trail and what it is.
Many people may not know about the trail that runs behind the library. So it does have a trailhead that starts kind of by Parks and Rec. The Storybook Trail will start off of the youth terrace in our kind of backyard. And then there's like kind of a cut through path, and it follows the trail back through and then comes up the sled hill and puts you back out into that back parking lot by the township hall. It's not a very long path. I think it's like a quarter mile. So if you have a little kiddo, it's perfect for a short attention span. And the goal is really to promote early literacy and to get families out in nature.
And so as people go out on this portion of the trail, it's a different section. It's going to be a specially marked section of the trail that will be known as the Storybook Trail. What will they experience on that is going to be sort of different or stand out from the other trails at Town Hall?
So they are marked. So they're big marked, basically storybooks. They're you can see them now out there. There's just nothing in them. So they will have a large page from a storybook on them. And they're numbered so you can follow along to the next page. And at the bottom of each one, there's an activity or a question to keep the children and families engaged, to keep them motivated to keep going to the end.
And so ultimately, this is the partnership between the library and, of course, with Parks and Rec managing the trail out there. What was the inspiration, Emily, behind creating this new section of trail at the Town Hall complex?
So many libraries have done storybook trails, and for us, I think it's just it's so easy because the trail is right there. And obviously West Bloomfield has many local trails, but this one we are fortunate enough to have in our backyard, in the backyard of the library and parks. And we do so much programming at the library, and parks does so much programming with little hikers and nature walks, that we can both utilize the trail for programming. And a lot of people walk that trail with their dogs, after they come to the library with their kids. If they're looking for something to do before nap time or lunchtime, they can take a walk on the trail, and it gives parents another activity to be able to do besides just coming to the library or going to a program at parks. It kind of fills up their day, and it's a natural place for it to be.
More information can be found on wblib.org, and you can register for the Storybook Trail grand opening on wbparks.org. With us on the Splash Live, community engagement librarian at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, Emily Tobin, as this grand opening event Saturday, September 21st from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the main library. And part of this is, of course, going to be going out on the trail and exploring this new section of the trail network at West Bloomfield Town Hall, Emily. But also you're going to have an author and a Michigander, Deb Paludi, will be here at the event with her new book, The Dinosaur in the Garden. So why this book for this grand opening?
So Deb Paludi is a Michigander. She is a best-selling children's author. And this one, I think, is a perfect book for the both of us because, number one, kids love dinosaurs. And number two, he's in the garden, which is perfect for us and for parks. So it gives us the nature theme, and it gives dinos for the kids to interact with as well. So she will be here doing a story time. The naturalists will do a hike. And Deb will also be signing and drawing dinos with the kids.
And all that Saturday, September 21st at the library. You can register for the event to attend as we speak, wbparks.org. And of course, keep up to date on everything happening at the library on Facebook at West Bloom LIB. In terms of future programming, Emily, how can the library utilize the Storybook Trail to, like you said, get kids and get families more engaged in reading and learning all throughout the year?
So we're going to do this Halloween storybook stroll. So there'll be a Halloween story, and kids can collect their treats along the way. I know Parks is planning some in the spring. We'll partner with them to do specific books for like their winter solstice or the Pollinator Festival, so that they can utilize that trail as well to do specific programming around their larger events. And then, of course, for summer reading, we do obviously a lot of programming for summer reading, and we can plan larger hikes around that as well. When we do our big kickoff, we can do a walk as well on that Storybook Trail.
Emily Tobin is with us from the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. Their Storybook Trail grand opening in partnership with West Bloomfield Parks Saturday, September 21st from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Make sure to mark your calendars and get on out there to explore the new Storybook Trail, Michigan author, and learn more from West Bloomfield Parks and our local library. In terms of community feedback, how did that play into forming this new Storybook Trail with West Bloomfield Parks and ultimately bringing this grand opening event to us in September?
So this has been a long time coming. I've been at the library for almost 2 years, and we have been talking about it since I've been here. Last year, we did a temporary story walk out there on like the yard signs. And that got a lot of great feedback from patrons that, had kids and were looking for something else to do. And I did a lot of work with Lauren over at Parks to plan out where the post would go on the trail. So we have worked together a lot over the last year to get this up and running, and we're very excited to finally see it come to fruition.
More information on this on West Bloom LIB on Facebook or WB Parks on Facebook as well as you get ready for this event coming up on Saturday, September 21st. Emily, before we let you go, anything else that people should know about the Storybook Trail or what they can look out for out on the trail in the coming months?
So the goal is to have a new story every month. There will be a story out there before the grand opening. I'm just waiting for some final pages, but there hopefully within the next week or so there will be a story out there. So if you want to get a little preview, you can go back there and take a walk. But other than that, obviously it's a free event. We welcome you to come, and we hope to see you there.
A great way to get people out and about in our community as we wrap up the summer, get into the fall, and have plenty of opportunities to learn both inside and outside of the library and the Recreation Activity Center. Emily, thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you. Have a great day.
A lot to look forward to this fall season in the greater West Bloomfield area, all presented by WB Parks, Mother-Son Dance, and Halloween events and things of that nature. So much going on. Find out more on their Facebook, WB Parks, for more information regarding all the fall events going on. Now, as we mentioned earlier in the show, Bloomfield Hills has a new superintendent, and as he is actually opening up into his role, or transitioning, I should say, there's a few things that he's actually trying to make sure he kind of gets acclimated to and adjust. So with us right here live on The Splash, as we try to get him on to talk a little bit more about his plan and insight into the school year, Bloomfield Hills Superintendent Mr. Rick West. Thank you for being here, Mr. West.
Thank you, Kevin. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Great to have you here, sir, first and foremost. So, yes, we want to get straight into it. As we talked about before, since you're transitioning into this new role as superintendent for Bloomfield Hills Schools, how do you plan to address the unique needs of the students and the families in the Bloomfield Hills area?
Yeah, so you cut out a little bit there, but talking about the unique needs. So I'm excited to be here. We're on day 60 or so, and it's been a whirlwind. We finally brought the kids back. But to address the unique needs, you've been at it long enough, or I've been at it long enough to realize that there's really very little that's unique. But working and being visible, being accessible to our families, understanding their needs. I've been on a listening tour for the first several weeks here, and just learned a great deal. So looking forward to working with my team, working with our staff, and learning more from our community to understand at a deeper level what those needs are and how we may go about addressing them.
I love the approach, the fact that you're saying based on your experience, you pretty much seen a lot that has been, that can be thrown out there. So as far as unique, that's kind of subjective. But other than that, yes, kind of just having a listening ear to kind of listen and hear what are people's needs, wants, and what can we do and what's necessary, things of that nature. I love that approach first and foremost. Kind of getting into parents and students and their engagement with the schools overall. Like, are there any specific initiatives that you have in mind to enhance community engagement and maybe even better the relationship between the schools and the local residents?
Sure. Yeah. I welcomed the staff back last week, and we gave a message on care using an acronym as superintendents do. We challenged the staff to really authentically connect, acknowledge, respect, and engage with one another. So that's the organizational challenge right now. And how that plays out is yet to be seen, but we're going to be looking to connect at every level, connect with each other, connect with our stakeholders, acknowledge the good work we're doing, tell our stories, respect one another, respect the divergent thought that exists within our community, and then engage authentically with one another. We do have, I'll have monthly events where I'll be out and about. I'll be out and about, daily, but connecting with people. But I look forward to having cookies with the superintendent, soup with the superintendent. Those events are all on our website, and I'll be engaging with stakeholders that way.
Yeah, I like that. There you go, soup with the superintendent. Just little different clever events and things like that. But overall, just to get the community out. And I like that you're saying, hey, we'll have these events It'll give you an opportunity to speak with me directly, voice your opinion, anything that you have going on. So you're at least presenting it out there. And I like that you're doing that. With us right here live on the Splash, Superintendent for Bloomfield Hills Schools, Mr. Rick West, talking about his plans, his initiatives as we continuously go into the 2024-2025 school year. With your background in business administration, how do you plan to leverage that while ensuring Bloomfield Hills schools remain financially stable and also continuing that high quality education that they're used to?
Yeah, financial stewardship is a main job of the superintendent and the Board of Education. And I'm happy to say we have probably the best assistant superintendent of business services in the state. I was able to work with Candace Moynihan at Troy, and she beat me over here actually. So leveraging her skill set, leveraging our business services team, we have a very dutiful, very intelligent Board of Education. So I'll be working with them on setting priorities. We're going to engage in a strategic planning process where we tie our resource allocation to the strategic plan and what we want to accomplish in the district. So, certainly that's my skill set. I bring years of experience in managing and being a fiscal steward of financial resources that the community trusts us with, but doing it collaboratively, working with our team, working with our union groups, making sure that we are addressing the needs. Again, listening to the community and what is the strategic planning process going to yield, and how are we going to allocate resources accordingly, is all part of the plan. And I look forward to engaging in that process. When you talk about community engagement, there will be opportunities for everybody to be involved if they want to and lend their opinions. So I look forward to that. And making sure that we have great financials to really drive the process.
Yeah, it's definitely about balance. And like we said, we know with your background, you're experienced in that already. So, I would only imagine that you would just take the strategic leap forward to make sure everything is perfectly balanced. Make sure, like we said, high quality education along with financial stability, definitely key in maintaining a great education for our youth. Now, outside of just education, support for our children, mainly mental health, has been a very, very big topic recently. Are there any new or existing programs that you plan to prioritize that supports mental health for our children in the Bloomfield Hills School District?
Well, I haven't been able to delve into that extremely deep yet, but I do know we have a very robust social work program, counseling program. We have a therapy dog in every building, which has provided supports, and I've seen that in action even on the first day. So it is something that we have to prioritize, and we will. I would imagine any strategic plan process within schools really focuses on the entire child, and their well-being, their mental well-being, social emotional well-being is going to be at the forefront of what we do and how we allocate resources. I'll tell you, the state cut 31AA funding. It's a specific funding mechanism. I think to the tune of $300 and some million. We're going to be working with our state legislatures and advocating for a restoration of those funds. It clearly was identified for school safety and mental health, and I think it's the restoration of those funds is going to be a priority as we work to advocate for public education. But it is, as part of my administration and part of the strategic planning, it is going to be a focus. And I said, as part of my outline or challenge to the district, is connection. I believe connection is at the forefront of being socially and emotionally well balanced. So how do we connect our staff together? How do we connect our students to meaningful experiences? That's all part of the plan, and all part of the conversations in the fall and throughout this school year. So I look forward to getting to be part of that work and leading that work, but it is going to be at the forefront of our conversations.
100%. Very reassuring. I'm glad you went into depth to talk about that, because any of the students, parents, or members of the community that are watching that may have that as a concern, now they have the answers for that. So thank you for providing that insight. And with us right here live on The Splash, new superintendent for Bloomfield Hills Schools, Mr. Rick West, just talking about his plan, initiatives, and how he's kind of getting settled into transition being the new superintendent. How do you envision working with the school board as well as other local leaders in school districts to kind of foster a collaborative environment focused on continuous improvement?
Yeah, so I've been blessed. Obviously, the board hired me in July. We had an opportunity in August to engage, and I look forward to developing that relationship. This team of 8, our governance team, has to be solid. We have to be on the same page. And I just have enjoyed getting to know each one of them individually and then collectively developing norms with them and how we're going to operate and work together. And I believe we're on solid ground. As a governance team and able to really position ourselves to lead the work that's moving forward and developing that strategic plan. So I look forward to really honing in on that relationship and making sure that I prioritize that as well. And what's the second part of that question?
Essentially, how do you incorporate, or how will you incorporate that into your strategy? Or I'm sorry, just essentially collaborating with school board members and other local district leaders. How do you kind of plan on collaborating to make that a great environment? But it seems like you answered the question well already, Mr. West.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Just to add to that, the community leaders as well. I've been able to meet with Danny Walsh on a number of occasions, and strong communities equal strong schools and vice versa. And I look forward to really developing those relationships throughout.
Absolutely. Mr. West, we appreciate your time. Lastly, very quickly before we go, any last messages, key information that you want to get out to the community before we let you go?
Just continue to look for opportunities to engage, connect with us, acknowledge the work that we're doing, respect one another as we move along. I look forward to getting out there and getting to know people. And if you see me, say hi, and I look forward to connecting with our community.
Absolutely. And we appreciate your time, your information, your perspective, and more importantly, good luck throughout the school year. Joining us once again for his time, Superintendent for Bloomfield Hills Schools, Mr. Rick West. Thank you again, sir.
Appreciate it, Kevin. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. After ironing out technical difficulties, we finally were able to talk to the new superintendent for Bloomfield Hills, and it's great information. He had a lot of information, a great plan to kind of connect parents and the residents to the school district, Jake, and we're actually happy to finally connect with them also.
Absolutely. It's great to hear this new vision for the school year, especially with a new face in the chair. It's great to hear this from Rick West, and we're really glad to have had him on today.
Absolutely. So much great information and one great show, and we love to present it to our community. That's our time. We are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.